Bum, 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 bum. The Peter Shitshow. The Peter Shitshow. Bum, 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 bum. Happy Sunday night. So I had 3 days off, and I used the opportunity to correct some addiction problems. I've been eating a lot healthier these last couple of days. I haven't masturbated for almost 11 days now, and I feel really good. None of those habits were really killing me, but they were seriously hampening my creativity. So, for example, earlier today when I was tempted to masturbate, instead I wrote a number of computer games, and I obviously recorded a number of shit shows, and it just forced me to think a little bit outside the box. And obviously, my eating habits have been kind of reset back to normal now. During my working weeks, a lot of times my eating habits kind of just was taken on for the ride. But it got me thinking, if just 3 days can correct so many bad habits, why don't we have better work life balance? And it got me thinking, I don't think a lot of workplaces want their employees to have healthy habits. If you think about it, an employee that's constantly depending on their paycheck to go toward an addictive habit is somebody who will be desperate to do anything, right? The last thing you want is your employees to all of a sudden have freedom, control over their bodies, control over their spending habits, and all of a sudden that paycheck is more of an optional thing. Right? That's the last thing a lot of employers want of their employees, right? And so I think this quiet quitting has kind of reset that balance. But I wish people would quiet quit in the right way. The best way to quiet quit is to take control of your body and let your healthy body do the work for you, right? That's the best way to quiet quit, right? Unfortunately, a lot of people are not quiet quitting in that department. And so here's what I recommend. So, one of the big problems when I go back to work tomorrow is that I tend to eat very well when I eat on my own schedule. And so I'm no longer going to care if I eat in front of the students and if I have to uh, relax some of the table manners a little bit because my healthy body will do the best work, right? So a lot of times I'll have to think about how to eat at the desk because a lot of times, even though I eat at the desk, it's against the company policy. I get that. But a lot of times the food tastes like cardboard. I cannot seem to talk and eat at the same time. I have a question for God. God, why did you design our bodies to use the same organ to eat and talk? Right? It really should be two different organs if you really stop to think about it. I cannot understand from an evolutionary point of view why why we eat and talk with the same organ. I really cannot. If you have an answer for why evolutionarily we developed this way, feel free to leave a comment. I just can't understand it. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you stop to think about the evolution of life, right? So an organism that can eat and talk with two different organs would have a huge evolutionary benefit, right? They're chowing down on something and they need to communicate to their peers about something else. Hey, food here, right? You would think that would be a competitive advantage, right? But for some reason, right? And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, right? For example, we don't eat and have sex with the same organs, right? That would be a huge evolutionary disadvantage, right? You're chewing down on something, and the perfect match comes along, and the both of you are ready to have children, but because your mouths are full, you can't. Imagine how much of a disadvantage that would be, right? But for some reason, anyway, I'll have to think about how to quiet quit in that regard. But it's made me really reflect on the fact that I think addiction and burnout are kind of baked into they're features of our capitalism. They're not bugs, right? An employee that is burnt out, addicted, and has no time to recharge is the best slave you can keep, right? And so I want you to break away from that by quiet quitting in a good way, right? By recharging yourself. This is the Peter Shitshow. Bum, 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 bum. The Peter Shitshow with Peter Shit. Peter Shit. Bum, 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 bum.